Cole, let's bring in Nicolle Wallace right now. What were the big questions that lingered to you after James Comey's testimony?
Well, listen, if you needed any more evidence that we live in two Americas, Corey just gave it to you. And I think that Trump's enthusiasts are going to stare at the trees that paint the picture of the forest they'd like to live in. I think the other side is going to stare at the trees that paint the picture of the forest they'd like to live in. The truth is, what we learned yesterday is that Donald Trump had a lot of interactions with FBI Director Jim Comey as president-elect and as president. No one can deny that. In none of them did he ask a single question about the veracity of Russians meddling in America's democracy. That, to me, just as an American of neither party anymore, is the most troubling and really the big structural sort of blow for the president is that he's always worried about his personal legal equities and about the personal criminal legal liabilities of his buddy Mike Flynn.
It is kind of interesting because, Corey, we'll let you back in here, but it is kind of interesting to me because on the one hand, I mean, there were things that were problematic with James Comey's testimony. I mean, I think that's a fair criticism on the issue of leaking to the New York Times rather than going through proper channel like the Congress. Or, for example, what Dianne Feinstein asked him about. Why didn't you stand up right then and there? But on the other hand, there are parts that are quite damaging to the president.
Savannah, it's very interesting. If you listen to Jim Comey's testimony yesterday, he testified under oath. He knew that Jeff Sessions was going to recuse himself. He made that statement knowing on February 15th, he said, I knew that Attorney General Jeff Sessions was going to recuse himself. Jeff Sessions didn't recuse himself until March 2nd.
Well, so he was leading the investigation.
Actually, he said we had good reason to believe he was going to recuse himself. He also did this. He dropped another little morsel. I want to play it for you right now.
Our judgment, as I recall, was that he was very close to and inevitably going to recuse himself for a variety of reasons. We also were aware of facts that I can't discuss in an open setting that would make his continued engagement in a Russia-related investigation problematic. So
he chooses his words very carefully. He just dangled something there, Corey. If you're the president of the United States, do you walk into Jeff Sessions today and say, what are they talking about? No, what else is there?
Because what we've seen from Jim Comey is his goal is to manipulate the media, manipulate the press. He is part of the deep state. He's everything that's wrong in Washington. What happened on March 1st, the Wall Street Journal published a story. Carol Lee wrote a very impressive story about Attorney General Jeff Sessions and his unreported meeting with Kislyak, the Russian ambassador. That came from the Department of Justice clearly. And what it said in that story was there was hand-wringing at the Department of Justice, and there was no formal way to remove an attorney general from an investigation except public pressure. What we saw after that story was published was Jeff Sessions recused himself the following day. But what testimony was, I knew he was going to recuse himself because he's probably the one who leaked the story to the Wall Street Journal.
He didn't actually say I knew he was going to. But go ahead. I'll give you the last word on this.
I just say, you know, I worked for a president for 7 years. I worked for a candidate for the presidency. I met one Russian in all those years. Everybody in and around Trump and everyone around him, you know, was breaking bread with Russians all the time. And when it came time to testify to those meetings, they either lied about those meetings, left them off their forms. And I think what Comey was referencing was that we had reason to believe that Sessions wasn't going to make it because at some point he hadn't been truthful about an interaction with a Russian. And it's always Russia. It's never meetings with Mexicans or Canadians. It's always about Russia.
Real quickly, just for fun, Corey, has the president ever leaked anything? Has he ever been an anonymous source? Have you ever seen him talk to a reporter on background?
What I know is the president is the most open president in the history of our country. He gives more interviews than anybody else.
One man's openness is another man's leaker.
Yeah, okay.
They're telling us really have to go.
Yeah, that was a hard round.
Thanks very much, Nicole. Thank you as well.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.